if you were listening to this right now, there's a very good chance, the exact feeling of being completely overwhelmed by digital bombardment.
Oh, yeah. That constant underlying mental static.
Exactly. That frantic pace of modern life that leaves you feeling like your brain has, 36 browser tabs open.
And they are all playing a completely different song.
Right. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
Today, we are going right to the heart of that feeling. Our mission for this deep dive is to explore a highly specific, ancient tool.
Designed for achieving profound mental clarity.
And emotional equilibrium right in the middle of all that noise.
We have an incredibly focused set of materials to guide us through this today, which is, it's always refreshing when we are dealing with energetic practices.
It really is. Our sources for this deep dive include excerpts from a fascinating text called White Fire Agate, the luminous architect of spiritual clarity.
Alongside some highly curated insights from the specialty retailer Crystals by Rob.
Okay, let's unpack this, because we are looking at a stone that is practically legendary in mineral and energetic healing circles.
Yeah, it's very well known.
But it seems to operate very differently from what its name might suggest.
It does, and that is a brilliant place to start. We are talking about White Fire Agate.
Right.
Which in some of your more esoteric circles is known as White Dream Fire Agate, or the sphere of serenity and emotional renewal.
I love that name.
What's fascinating here is the sheer contrast between this stone's energetic signature and the traditional understanding of a fire agate.
Because usually when you think of fire agate, you think of
intense heat.
Exactly.
When you work with a standard fire agate, you are usually dealing with intense heat-based frequencies.
Right, they stimulate.
They are stimulating stones that pull energy up from the lower chakras to invigorate the physical body.
But White Fire Agate does the opposite.
The complete inverse. It is profoundly cooling. Its energy mimics the soft, ethereal light of the moon.
Acting as a bridge.
A subtle, stabilizing bridge between the physical world and higher spiritual realms.
That makes so much sense given how the source text describes its primary function. It frames the stone as a tool for emotional first aid.
Yes.
But reading through the material, I was struck by the mechanics of how it actually achieves that. Because in energetic healing, we are so used to stones that act as heavy shields.
Like an obsidian.
Right, or black tourmaline that just builds a thick wall between you and the stress of the world.
Yeah.
But White Fire Agate doesn't do that at all, does it?
Not at all. It operates on a much more elegant fluid principle.
Refraction.
Exactly, refraction. Rather than acting as a dense barrier that dense energy crashes against, it acts like a prism.
So it takes that chaotic energy.
When you introduce chaotic, stagnant, or highly disorganized energy, like that digital static you mentioned earlier, the stone draws it in and diffuses it.
It scatters it.
It scatters that chaotic wavelength into a broad spectrum of balanced, harmonious light. It essentially allows the tangled energy to unwind naturally.
That is such a vivid way to picture it. It is taking the storm and letting it pass through, but turning it into a gentle breeze on the other side.
Yes.
And the text specifically highlights its ability to clear cognitive dissonance and mental fog. It acts as a cooling balm for the nervous system.
Especially during moments of high-pressure decision-making.
Where your emotions are running too hot to allow for logical processing.
Because it works through illumination rather than force. It brings a gentle, clarifying light to confusing situations.
Right.
When you are caught in an emotional loop, your frequency becomes jagged. The refractive nature of the stone smooths out those jagged edges.
Letting the intense emotions settle.
So you can actually observe them with composure rather than reacting to them.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Because the sources give us these incredibly practical, everyday applications for that exact mechanism.
It is not just about keeping the stone on an altar.
Right. It is about keeping it in your real messy life.
Like tactile grounding.
Yes, tactile grounding. The text suggests that if you are commuting or standing in a frustratingly long line, you hold the stone in your non-dominant hand. You focus on its cool texture to anchor yourself and just let the stone absorb the agitation.
The physical and energetic synergy there is quite profound. By holding it in your receptive hand, you are consciously creating a circuit.
Interrupting the fight or flight response.
Exactly. The immediate cooling sensation of the physical stone interrupts the nervous system's fight or flight response, while on an energetic level, the refractive properties begin untangling the immediate frustration you are pulling in from your environment.
I also love the journaling support application.
Placing it on your desk.
Placing it on your desk while you are writing about your emotional challenges so you can write from a place of clarity rather than a place of distress.
And for bedroom serenity, tucking it under your pillow.
Right. It functions as a worry stone to absorb that racing mental chatter that keeps you awake. And the text even claims it encourages prophetic dreams.
If we look at the core of all those individual practices, they all funnel into a much broader goal mentioned in the text.
Nurturing self-compassion.
True emotional healing requires us to look at our past mistakes, our missteps, without harsh judgment. The pure, white-hued vibrations of this stone encourage deep honesty.
Right.
But they pair that honesty with a sense of lightheartedness. By holding the stone against your heart for just a few minutes a day, the text describes how it fosters this enveloping feeling of being held.
Held and supported by the universe.
It shifts the internal dialogue from criticism to forgiveness.
That is a profound shift to make.
Hmm.
And what I find equally compelling is how it changes our external interactions.
Oh, absolutely.
Crystals by Rob brings a really interesting angle to this. They actually have a specific designation for White Fire Agate.
They call it the Clarity Architect.
The Clarity Architect. I think that is a phenomenal encapsulation of its function.
Because architecture implies structure and intentional design, not just a fleeting passive feeling.
They emphasize that you cannot build a high-performance life if your internal system is clogged with environmental noise.
They recommend it specifically for people who need to cut through immense demands and remain calm, focused, and intuitive.
How does that internal architecture translate to dealing with difficult people?
It translates into aura stabilization. When you are interacting with someone who is projecting a heavy load of stress, anger, or urgency, this stone prevents energetic enmeshment.
Because it is continuously refracting chaotic energy.
Exactly. It stops you from unconsciously matching the other person's spike in frequency. It creates a breathable space in your own field.
Where you can respond to their chaos with grace over defensiveness.
Grace over defensiveness, yes.
Imagine the sheer impact of applying that one concept to our workplaces. And speaking of workspaces, the sources get very granular about keeping the stone near your keyboard.
Or in a shared living or working space.
Right. It is meant to neutralize arguments before they escalate and to clear the lingering energetic density of previous projects or tense video calls.
Oh,
I think everyone knows that exact feeling when the Zoom call ends, the screen goes dark, but the heavy stress of the meeting is still just hanging in the air of your office.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, that lingering density is precisely what the deeper spiritual mechanics of the stone are designed to address.
Because digital spaces leave an imprint.
Digital spaces and interpersonal communications leave a real, palpable, energetic imprint. On a macro level, White Fire Agate is primarily aligned with the crown chakra.
Acting as a master conductor.
It pulls high-frequency refined data from higher spiritual realms down into our physical reality, anchoring those insights so we can disperse that heavy, dense stagnation.
The text details some highly specific hands-on healing rituals to actually move that energy around, and I really want to visualize these. Let's start with auric combing. How do we actually perform that?
The physicality of these rituals is what makes them so effective. For auric combing, if you feel coated in stress after a long day, you hold the crystal a few inches away from your skin. You start at the top of the head and sweep downward through your field. The key is that at the end of the downward motion, you literally flick your wrist.
You have to physically release the energetic debris.
Yes, the debris it has collected at the terminus of the sweep so it doesn't just pool at your feet.
I can almost feel the relief of just flicking that heavy density away. What about the light shield ritual for protection?
Before entering a high-stress environment or starting a healing session, you hold the stone and visualize a soft, translucent veil of light emanating from it, wrapping around your entire body.
Remember our discussion on refraction. This isn't a brick wall you are visualizing.
Right. It is a breathable filter that allows you to remain engaged with the world without absorbing its toxicity.
Then there is the crown to third eye sweep. The imagery in the text for this one is stunning.
It really is.
You lie down, hold the stone at the crown of your head, and slowly trace it down to your forehead. And you are meant to visualize the light from the stone, acting as a silken thread.
Literally stitching your higher consciousness directly into your intuitive mind.
So you can act on your spiritual insights.
It creates a seamless conduit between pure cosmic data and actionable intuition. Following that, you would move to heart center pulsing.
Okay.
You place the stone directly over your heart, take deep, slow breaths, and with every exhale, you visualize the stone's white light expanding outward over your solar plexus and up to your throat.
It is an intentional reset of the entire center of your energetic system.
And for a total system reboot, they describe the vertical alignment, lying flat, starting at the root chakra.
And holding the stone a few inches above each of the 7 major energy centers for 30 to 60 seconds each, moving all the way up to the crown to equalize your entire vibration.
The thoroughness of that alignment practice is incredible, and that level of precision extends to the layered associations the text provides for these chakras.
The correspondences they have mapped out for the crown, third eye, and heart chakras when working with White Fire Agate are an absolutely stunning metaphysical data set.
Oh, definitely.
The text dedicates a massive section to these granular details. Animals, planets, herbs. Can you break down how these overlapping correspondences actually work with the stone?
Oh, I would love to. It is such a beautifully complex matrix. Let's look at the animal totems first. Across the crown, third eye, and heart chakras, the text lists the exact same 3 animals.
Looks okay.
The eagle, the raven, and the spider.
Wow.
The eagle represents the overarching vision and clarity. The raven holds the connection to the void and the mysteries of the unseen. And the spider, which is brilliant, represents the weaving of the architecture.
The clarity architect we discussed earlier.
Exactly.
And the astrological signs are consistent across all 3 as well. Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, they're all air signs, which perfectly fits the ethereal, clarifying nature of the stone.
Yes. The air element governs the frequency of mind communication and higher intellect. It is the perfect vibrational match. But then the alignment shifts when we get to the archangels.
Right.
Metatron, who governs sacred geometry and the Akashic records, is associated with the crown and the third eye.
But Archangel Raphael, the ultimate healer, is called in for the heart.
The planetary alignments follow a similar nuanced shift. The crown aligns with Jupiter and Uranus for expansion and sudden striking insight.
The third eye works with Saturn and Neptune for a blend of rigid structure and deep mysticism.
And the heart pairs with Venus and the moon for pure receptive love.
I am amazed by the sheer depth of this toolkit. And we haven't even touched on the botanicals yet.
The botanicals are where the physical and energetic truly merge. Across all 3 chakras, the ethereal work is supported by sylphs, zephyrs, and the fairies of trees, flowers, and winds.
But the specific herbs you would use in tandem with the crystal are meticulously chosen.
For the crown, you have Gotu-kola blue lotus and bacopa. Gotu-kola is revered in Ayurvedic medicine for opening the microchannels of the brain, perfectly mirroring the crystal's action on the crown chakra.
For the third eye, it suggests cinnamon, shankpushpi, and cardamom to stimulate and awaken that center.
And for the heart, you use rose, sandalwood, moringa, and neem to soothe and protect. Imagine doing the crown to third eye sweep while burning a blend of shankpushpi and blue lotus. The resonance would be off the charts.
Wow, you are absolutely in your element right now, and I am loving the passion. But let's reel it in for just a second.
I know I get a little carried away when the data is this beautifully synthesized.
It has a lot of information.
It is, and this raises an important question. How do we actually integrate all of these diverse spiritual tools, the herbs, the planetary alignments, the angelic invocations, into a singular focus for healing?
Because having all these associations is a treasure trove.
But trying to use them all at once could easily lead to the exact overwhelm that White Fire Agate is supposed to cure.
That is the ultimate question here. We have the herbs, the stars, the intricate sweeps and pulses. So what does this all mean?
Exactly.
When we distill all of this down, the core takeaway from both the deep metaphysical text and the practical advice from Crystals by Rob is that White Fire Agate is far more than a pretty rock to look at. It is a highly calibrated structural tool, an active bridge between the physical and spiritual realms designed specifically to help us maintain our energetic integrity in a world that constantly demands our attention.
Which brings us back to the necessity of practice, because knowledge is most valuable when it is understood and applied.
Yes.
Whether you are actively preparing for a deeply difficult, tense conversation with a colleague, or you are simply trying to get a good night's sleep without your brain replaying every mistake you have ever made, you now have a conceptual framework. You understand the architecture of finding your peace, and you have a blueprint for creating your own sphere of serenity.
We learned today that White Fire Agate protects you not by building a thick, heavy wall, but by acting as a prism, diffusing and refracting chaotic energy into balanced light. So the next time you face a deeply stressful situation, even if you don't have a crystal in your pocket, how might you apply that principle of refraction to your own mind? How can you let the chaos pass through you, only to scatter it into something entirely harmless? Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep exploring, keep learning, and as always, stay curious.